Hey everybody, it's your boy PV back with another video. Today I want to talk about the new manhwa that came out the other day. It's called The Martial Genius Who Remembers Everything. Essentially, what this comic is our main character is a third-rate martial artist who basically gets recruited by the Mirim Alliance, essentially to transcribe and basically learn and write down and basically establish his own like collection of these all the martial artist techniques of the Mirim Alliance. Basically creating his own like little library after because there was a war between the Mirim Alliance and the demonic cult, and the Mirim Alliance had to flee. They lost pretty much almost everything. They were losing this war, and so what they did was they started using the lower sex, like the third-rate martial artists and their third-rate sex, as basically human shields against the demonic cult, where they would just sacrifice them in order to save themselves. And our main character happened to be one of those people. The Miram Alliance essentially told him that if he wanted the people of his sect to not be used as human shields, he had to collect all these martial arts, transcribe them down in all these books, and then basically they would be taken care of by the Alliance and not be used as human shields. However, this is a reincarnation comic, so I'm assuming if you are not new to these comics, uh, that's you can guess that that's not how it went, right? What truly happens is our main character gets after he transcribes all these martial arts and memorizes everything. He gets hunted down by the Miram Alliance leader. Basically, the Miram Alliance leader says, you know all of our secret techniques, you know all of our techniques, not even just the secret ones. If you decided to work with the demonic cult and turn against us, then we will definitely have no chance. And so Miram Alliance leader hunts him down to kill him. He eventually ends up throwing himself off a cliff, wanting to die on his own terms, and he wakes up to being returned to the past. I would scroll up a little bit just so you can see like the style of art of the characters. I don't want to show too much art because I already have one copy strike on the channel. I don't want it anymore. But yeah, so it's essentially what happened. He goes back to the past. It starts out in like one of his most unpleasant memories back in when he was young. Basically, there's like duels and there's like the villain character in the early years that are always bullying him, and he gets revenge on the bully. But essentially, our main character throws himself off the cliff. He gets reincarnated back into the past, and his whole goal now is to uh, protect the people who are important to him and not get caught up in the Miram Alliance. And essentially, he says something that basically sums up his goals in this reincarnation is, if he could go back in time, he would focus more on not asking people for protection, but rather getting the strength to protect him and those he cares about himself. Not having to rely on anybody, and that's probably at least what I gather from reading it so far is where it's gonna go. He uses all these techniques, and he has all these techniques into his head, and even with the first battle, back in the past, he thinks of a martial artist that used this technique and how it was implemented and why it was beneficial for him in that moment, and he uses that technique. And I assume there's going to be plenty more of those where he is in a situation. He goes through like the whole library of martial arts in his head, uh, and depending on the situation, uses that martial art since he pretty much has learned every single martial art that he could get his hands on. So I think it's a pretty cool concept. I'd like to see where the world building goes. How his character interactions work with all the different characters. How he responds in this world to the Miram Alliance, whether he is hostile off the get go or just with the Miram Alliance leader. Whether he works with the demonic cult or not. There's a lot of things that I'd like to see, or I'm interested in seeing. But ultimately, I like the premise of it. You have this main character who's determined to protect all the people he cares about, and he has basically all the martial arts at his disposal to use in order to do so. So I would like to see though. He said his like one main issue is that he has a lack of internal energy. So I do look forward to seeing how he solves that problem. Because once he solves that, he'll pretty much be unstoppable. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about today. If you guys like the video, subscribe, keep coming back. I hope to see more of you in the future. I hope to talk more about the comics that I love and the comics that I read with all of you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.